Hi there, I'm standing near a little castle in, well, with the dustbins, let's say. The dustbins behind me. I'm just waiting for my daughter who's been doing the course all week. And I wanted to talk about speed limits on German Autobahns, or not, and the common misconceptions there are about speed limits. Now, on the 28th of July this year, a driver was caught doing 321 kilometers an hour. That's 199 miles an hour. On the Autobahn just outside of Berlin, where a speed limit of 120 kilometers an hour had been imposed. He was caught by some mobile police unit. They do undercover secret stuff and they catch you that way. And he was fined 900 euros. He was given 2 points on his license and banned from driving for 3 months, which in my opinion is not very strict, and which also endorses the fact that speeding is okay here. I mean, the danger of driving over 300 kilometers an hour is insane. I've done it, I've done almost 300, and I think it almost killed me. So the question that everyone always has is, isn't the German Autobahn limit free? Can't you drive as fast as you want everywhere? Now, this used to be the case. It was founded, or they started building it in 1930, and you didn't need speed limits, there weren't enough cars, and they weren't going that fast anyway. And it's always been a thing, because the Autobahn was started in Germany. This is the home, and you can still drive the original road up to Berlin from Munich. Obviously it's been recovered quite a few times, but the road itself still exists. And it's a sense of pride in Germany, and a sense of freedom that you can drive as fast as you want. But about 30% of German motorways are actually restricted on speed. This is usually in urban areas where they're building, or near cities, residential areas, things like that. It's noise reduction because it can be very loud, and it's also just safety. And if there's heavy traffic or something like that, sometimes they have restrictions on times of day, or if it's weather or nighttime or something like that. But otherwise, the other 70% are pretty much free to speed. If I drive to, let's say, Stuttgart or Frankfurt from Munich, it takes about 4 or 5 hours to go to Frankfurt. You will hit speed restrictions every maybe 20-30 kilometers. So you can have stretches where you can go really, really fast. And this is what people do. And they will take out, not even on a Sunday morning, they'll do it at night time, or when everyone else is out in the daytime, and they'll go as fast as they can. There is a recommended speed of 130 kilometers an hour, which is around the speed in France. It's normally 120, 140, but it's only a recommendation and it's not legally enforceable unless there's an actual legal speed limit there. So now it's become a cultural value that Germany doesn't have a speed limit on 70% of its motorways. People are proud of this. It shows a sense of freedom. It also shows a sense of trust in the drivers, apparently. And you have brands like BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Porsche. They still advertise their cars as Autobahn tested. You know, they can do this speed because they can prove that they can go certain speeds on an actual road, not just on a proving ground, which is a huge selling point. And you also get people that buy the cars from abroad, especially America. They'll buy the Porsche, they'll come to Germany, pick it up, do a whole tour around the Autobahns with no speed limits, and then head back and the car will be shipped to them. Because they offer whole packages, these companies, and people from abroad love it and they do it. And there's a huge thing about speeding here. And many politicians also push not to enforce a speed limit because it's anti-freedom, it's anti-German culture, it's anti-everything. Why can't we do what we want? The problem is it's dangerous, and you get foolhardy people who don't know how to drive properly in potentially dangerous cars going very, very fast, and they don't know how to stop. I know a lot of cars are very safe here. You have a TÜV, which is the MOT equivalent in the UK. They do every 2 years, rigorous testing, and the cars have to be road worthy to drive. So you generally don't have unsafe cars, but you may have unsafe drivers. Now, there has been a push to really align the speed limit to about 130 kilometers an hour to align with the rest of European countries, to cut emissions, cut carbon emissions, and just have a general speed limit across Europe. Because we want a united Europe, but each country also doesn't want to be united. And there are elections every so often on these referendums. I don't think there's been a referendum. I think politicians vote, and they always vote for it not to be enforced overall, just like they don't vote for Sunday openings. Same thing. You can't open Sundays, but you can drive as fast as you want. And there was a poll in 2019 which showed that over half of Germans actually opposed a cap. So over half of people want to be able to drive as fast as possible. Now, I personally think it's great to have a speed limit. It's safer, and more safer for emissions and carbon emissions and things like that. So it's less polluting, but it's really safer for people's lives and accidents. I've seen accidents happen. I've seen the crashes that I go past on the motorway, and they're bad. You know, there are a lot of fatal accidents. When they do crash, they're fatal. Although the cars are good, they're very rigorously tested, quite often quite new. It doesn't mean you're not going to die if you're crashing head on at going up to 300 kilometers an hour. And by international standards, interesting enough, the German Autobahn is actually safer than France and Italy, but not as safe as UK and the Nordics. I said Germany has deaths per billion kilometers driven. Germany is 1.6, France is 2.1, Italy is 1.9, UK is 1.0, and Netherlands 0.9. But like I said, when accidents do happen at over 200 kilometers an hour, then they're catastrophic, quite often fatal, and cars plough into each other because they all drive too close. I've done so many videos where I've mentioned this, or they just drive literally inches apart going 200 kilometers an hour. That's like 150, 160 miles an hour. It's literally like 6 inches apart, and they overtake us, and you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 cars speeding, trying to just overtake each other on the inside where possible. They beaver weave it in and out, cut you up, don't indicate. It's shockingly bad. I'm actually surprised there aren't more crashes. I'm sure everyone has a guardian angel here, because it's amazing in a bad way how bad the driving can be. And they think they're great drivers on the whole, these people that drive so fast. Not all Germans, just people living in this country. So to sum up, there is a no speed limit on German autobahns, but only on about 70%. 30% are restricted in urban areas, residential areas, places where they want noise and pollution reduction, especially around cities, major cities, where there is bad pollution. And even though people love it and they love the freedom of being able to drive as quickly as possible on certain stretches, I know there is sentiment that people who are caught speeding ridiculously fast, like this man at the end of July last month, that the sentiment is that they should be punished a little bit harder. Losing your license for 3 months, 2 points on your license, and a €900 fine is not much, considering how dangerous it could have been. He could have killed a lot of people. So in England, you're done for dangerous driver, you'll get harsher punishments. I don't know exactly how much, but it could, if you have an accident, it will be a prison sentence. But obviously he didn't crash, the police caught him, which is probably a good thing. Let me know what you think. Do you think we should have a speed limit or no speed limit? What's a speed limit in your country? Do you think there are more crashes or fewer crashes because of it? Do they drive more carefully because there's a speed limit? I do know, I don't think they do. I think they drive the same with a speed limit, but they wouldn't be going 200-300 kilometers an hour. That's the truth. So thanks for watching, let me know, and see you next time. Cheerio.